Welcome to another episode of Cyber Content. Here is a podcast where we talk all things cybersecurity. So if you're trying to grow your career in cybersecurity, this is the right spot to be. Or if you're just here to learn about cybersecurity news, what's hot in cybersecurity, this is the spot to be. So now, today's episode, we're going to talk about how you can make a fortune in cybersecurity. Specifically, how you can make up to 260K a year in cybersecurity. All right, let's get into it.
Welcome to the Cyber Content Podcast, where we talk about cybersecurity career development and everything cyber.
So the trick is to get at least one cybersecurity job starting out. The particular position you want to apply for is the Information System Security Officer. Now, there's another position I could recommend called the Security Control Assessor, but I will recommend the Information System Security Officer, also called ISSO, over the Security Control Assessor. All right, so my recommendation again is the ISSO. So look for an ISSO position. Most ISSO positions will pay roughly around 130K a year. So you're going to get this ISSO job and try to work that job for a couple of months, see how hectic or not hectic it is, then apply for a second job. Mind you, this first job needs to be a remote job. The second job also needs to be a remote job. So get two remote ISSO jobs that pay 130K a year, and that's how you make that money. Now, there's another way to do this by becoming an ISSM or becoming a director of governance, risk, and compliance, a director of cybersecurity, a director of cyber risk management. Whatever cyber director position you're looking for, just get a cyber director position, particularly a position that deals with governance, risk, and compliance. All right. That's the second way to make roughly around 260K a year in cybersecurity. Now, the second method is reserved for people who already have experience in cybersecurity. So if you are already an ISSO and you're making about 130, 160, 170, try to become a lead ISSO first and get some type of supervisory or managerial experience under your belt. Do that for a couple of years and then become an ISSM, Information System Security Manager. Once you become an ISSM, then you can start looking for Deputy Director of Cybersecurity or Deputy Director of Governance, Risk, and Compliance, Deputy Director of Cyber Risk Management, or Assistant Director of Cybersecurity and whatnot. Work that for a couple of years or months or whatever it may be, and then start looking for a director position. So that's the way to start making a lot of money in cybersecurity. You can make up to 400K, 300K a year being a director in cybersecurity. Now, if you ask me, what is an ISSO? An ISSO is an Information System Security Officer. That is someone that's the liaison between the cybersecurity department and the client. So the ISSO typically will work in the federal government space or local or state government space where you are the expert in cybersecurity, governance, risk, and compliance. Your client is trying to get authorization to use a particular software. The ISSO is experienced in getting that authorization. So the ISSO will walk the client through the process of getting that authorization. Because in the federal government, you can't just use any piece of software or tool without it going through a series of tests or phases or assessments. And so when the assessment is good, you get what's called an authority to operate. That's called an ATO. All right. So you, as the ISSO, will walk them through the process of getting that ATO, and you're going to make sure that they pass the assessment. Even if they don't pass the assessment, you are still going to help them get to the level where they pass the assessment. You're going to help them look at the things that failed and help them get that authorization. All right. So the ISSO is always there um, prior to the assessment and post assessment, and there is a high demand for ISSOs. What type of work will you do as an ISSO? Majority of your work is attending meetings, taking notes, reporting statuses, uh, editing documents, developing documents, submitting documents, doing presentations. And these are skill sets that most everyone has. So at some point in your life, people who've gone to high school, college, you've written a paper, you've edited a paper, you've reviewed a paper, you've submitted your paper. That's pretty much what you're going to be doing on the job. So you're going to be reviewing the documents, making sure they're up to standard with the industry standards like NIST, NIST 800-53, NIST 800-171, and things of that nature. So as an ISSO, I think that is one of the easiest paths to getting into cybersecurity. The other ways of getting into cybersecurity would be more technical. You could be a pen tester, you could be a firewall administrator, you could be a security engineer, a security architect. Those typically require some technical skills and might be a harder barrier to entry as opposed to an ISSO job. So again, the trick is to get an ISSO job, right? You say, how do I get an ISSO job if I don't have experience? You could get an ISSO job by undergoing training. There are many training courses out there. Uh, I have one. So you get trained. Um, Now, your resume, you say, how do I have experience? You have experience reviewing documents. So you take the experience from your current background and put it in your resume in such a way that your potential employer could see you doing the job. You explain to them in the interview, hey, I've undergone training. I understand what all the necessary documents are for uh, an ATO or an assessment, and you will articulate your resume in such a way that your employer could see you on the job. I can also help you with that if you have issues with your resume and trying to figure out what skill sets carry over to cybersecurity. So that's the first thing. The other thing you could do is um, look for junior level ISSO positions. You're most likely to get a junior role because they don't really expect too much experience with junior roles. So I will type in Indeed or Dice, Glassdoor, Simply Hired, look for junior ISSO roles. Okay. Now, there is another way to get experience if you don't have experience, is to, after going to your training and knowing your stuff, go to friends of yours that have businesses and tell them, hey, I would like to develop your security policies for you for free of charge. Um, Now, those will serve as reference once you do those security policies. go to your church, your mosque, or your place of worship. Tell them, hey, I need to help you with your security policies and procedures. You do that. Go to any nonprofit, volunteer to do that. Now that will serve as experience. Go to your existing job. Say, hey, um, I just took a training course in governance, risk, and compliance as an ISSO. I have some knowledge on how to create uh, policies and cybersecurity policies and procedures. Uh, Sometimes they'll give you a job. So that's a way to get in as an ISSO. Now, there are other ways to make money in cybersecurity if you don't know anything about cybersecurity. That way is by getting government contracts. So what you're going to do is create your own company, all right? Choose a name. Um, I would, if you're only going to do cybersecurity, then have cyber in the name. If you know you're going to branch out to other things, you could just have a general name, you know, we say TV Tech or whatever. And then once you have that LLC, you could start to hire people to do your cybersecurity work, right? You could go to small businesses and hire cybersecurity talent to do a contract over there. Or you could start bidding on government contracts for cybersecurity work. And I think that's one of the best ways to make money because as a contractor, you're limited to how much you can make, right? You're only one person. But if you hire 10 people making 130,000 and you get money off their salaries, then hey, that's another way to make money. So think of it this way. You're you bid on a contract, right? A government contract. You make um, maybe the government contract's $1 million or 500K or um, $30 million or whatever it is, and um, you charge the government $400 an hour for your cybersecurity work. You hire someone, you pay the person maybe $100 an hour or $200 an hour. You keep the 200 or 300, whatever it is. You hire 10 people, do the math. You're going to make some good money. The other good thing or benefit about this is that it's a good way to, have tax write-offs. Gosh. Um, so your vehicle, if you drive to post flyers about your job, you're using your vehicle for work. Um, Things that you buy, software, computers, you're using your phone, those are things you could write off in taxes. Now, I'm not a licensed CPA, so definitely want to check with your with a licensed CPA for this, but I'm just letting you know general knowledge, right? But there are a lot of things you could write off, meals, meetings, things of that nature. Just having a company, a cybersecurity company, where you don't really have to know cybersecurity. All you have to know is about bidding on contracts. All right. So I hope this was helpful. If you need more information about how to become an ISSO, definitely hit me up and I'll pass on that information to you. Um, so there are ways to make money in cybersecurity. You just have to think outside the box. Now let's check out some positions, some ISSO positions online, see how much they make.
So what you're going to do is go to sites like Indeed.com and then type in ISSO. You could leave here blank, or you could type in remote, or type in your city or state. Hit search. When I ran my search, it pulled up Information System Security Manager, pulled up Security Analyst, Security Control Assessor, Information System Security Officer. But just take a look at the salaries. 135K to 216. And of course, this all depends on experience, right? That's why they have this range, 120 to 150. Salaries have gone up, 110 to 150. All right.
Hope this was helpful. Follow me for more tips.
Hey, if you're interested in any of my cybersecurity videos, here is one I would recommend for you. It's the Information System Security Officer Training. This course comes with tons of videos, a CAP, which is the Certified Authorization Professional Boot Camp. It comes with quizzes, comes with a certificate of completion, resume template, ebook, monthly live Q&A sessions, the ability to ask questions as well and get a response back in 48 hours. Also has interview prep and job prep. So this is a power-packed course. For more information, visit www.cyberfirstacademy.com. Thanks. Don't forget to subscribe and like. We're also on IG at CyberFirst Solutions. Thank you.